seat, we'll get started here back from our break. I want to thank CBH Medical for that break. Needed that 30-minute coffee break. Please thank the vendors that make this possible, all the vendors in there. I believe we have a record number of exhibitors this time, and thank them for coming and setting up, and that it helps with a lot of the conference expenses. It looks like a lot of people may have exited, but they're going to miss a dynamic speaker here, this young man. We're going to have Sheriff Antonio Hash, City of Roanoke, going to talk about Reignite, residents individually growing naturally and intentionally through education. It was a great program out in Kansas City at National Sheriff's Conference, presentation out there, and I'm sure he's going to let you guys know what this program is all about. So welcome, Sheriff Hash.
I don't know if you're supposed to touch the mic or what you're supposed to do, but I'm excited to be here. Again, my name is Antonio Hash, Sheriff of Roanoke City. I just got elected in office January, so let me just tell you, being on this platform at this moment, it's a humbling experience. And so I'm excited about it, to be here today and share it in this opportunity. Let me tell you that I don't hide my faith because God is good to me. And so I'm excited about this opportunity because if he don't make the way, I can't make it happen. So thank you again. Thank you to VSA and all those individuals who allowed this opportunity to happen. I'm excited. So I got 15 minutes, and so let me jump on board because, 15 minutes go by fast if you're not careful, right? So I'm here today to talk about Reignite. People say, what is Reignite? Reignite is residents. Why not inmates? I'll tell you about it in a minute. But residents individually growing naturally and intentionally through education. So that's where we at. Did I do that? Y'all did it. There we go. So how did this start? This started right here. It started in Genesee County. Sheriff Christopher Swanson from Genesee County started this in 2020. His job was to shift the focus from incarceration to education. How many sheriffs in this building right now have a jail or detention center or justice center? Can you raise your hands for me, please? Right? So we're shifting or trying to shift the culture from seeing incarcerated folk, from being locked up, but from incarceration to education. So this was designed to eliminate generational incarceration through education by restoring the value and hope and the purpose of our inmates or our residents in our population. So this program has been vetted, right? A lot of people may say, well, Sheriff, we already have programs in our jail. Well, congratulations, thank you. But if people are going to have an opportunity to change, we can't just have a jail or programs in our facility, detention center, or our justice center. We have to change the culture on how we see incarceration because society tells us and statistics tell us that 90% of people who come into our facilities, they do what? They go back into society to reoffend, right? And so if they have the opportunity to reoffend, then on a local level, I'm a politician. I know a lot of y'all politicians, right? I got 4 years. Some people say, no, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be, but that's what I signed up for, right? But they telling me, Sheriff Hash, you got 4 years to make this look like something. When I pulled up the crime rate in Virginia, Roanoke City, I think at this point is number 2. And so I'm forced by council and those around me to make this program look like something because we got people who come into our facility, they don't get no help. But guess what they do? They reoffend. So that's why we launched Reignite. This program has been vetted, so there's 147,000 teaching hours across the board. They got over 2,000 students enrolled in the program. There's a career path, so they talk about construction, architect work. They talk about financial stability. They talk about trauma. Because people go through things, right? We as law enforcement, don't we go through trauma? But society gives us the opportunity to do what? To get help. But a lot of times people can't afford the help. So guess what? They end up inside our facilities broken, hurt, damaged goods. And then we have a responsibility as sheriffs to do what? To stabilize people and to push them back out into society. So again, we've seen great improvements across the board. Their reading level skills go up because if they're not in a position to where they can grow and learn, guess what they do? They reoffend. And I'm not saying that this program or our facilities shouldn't lock up people, or we shouldn't lock up people, right? But at the end of the day, if you do the crime, you do what? You do the time. So I'm not against it at all. This is on the timer. I like it. It keeps you on track, right? But what it's saying to us is at the end of the day, if you do the crime, you do the time. But while they're in our facilities, we have to change the culture on how we see incarceration. So individuals, they deal with trauma. Like I just said, they deal with trauma, right? So if I tell a lot of you sheriffs right now, who want $100, who would raise their hand? A lot of you already got money in your pocket, so it don't matter to you. But if I say, who want $100, raise your hand real quick. Let me see it, right? But if I say, let me ball this $100 up, who would still want it? What happens if I drop the money on the ground and I stomp on it? Who would still want it, right? But if I throw it in this dirt and I cover it up and I get it dirty, who would still want it? Right. So what I'm telling you is this. The people who come into our facilities, they're damaged, they're broken. They don't have no ends, but they still hold value. And if we create programs or change of culture inside of our house, inside of our prisons, inside of our jails, inside of our detention centers, or we changing our name to Roanoke City Justice Center, and we changing them from calling them inmates to residents because we want them to see themselves differently. So when they return to society, they see themselves as changed. There's a scripture in the good book. It says that things can't happen to you unless you change your mindset. So it happens by the renewing of your mind. If the culture doesn't change, if we don't give them some stability, we can't change them. Look at the video if you don't mind. I still got it.
Hi, my name is Caleb Teachworth. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Flint, Michigan, and I'm part of the Ignite program. I've completed advanced financial literacy classes. I've gotten my GED certificate since I've been in here, and I've also gotten my CDL certificate. I believe that Ignite gives us a second chance, and since I've been incarcerated, I feel like it's helped me to understand that when I go home, I have another chance that not a lot of people are given the opportunity to have.
Good morning. My name is Mitchell Moss. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I'm here at Genesee County Jail as an inmate in the Ignite program, which has truly been an enlightening experience for me. I had a chance to meet a lot of great deputies that work here. Had a chance to be part of the Grow Power program that's here at Ignite. Ignite has been an enlightening journey for me because it gave me a chance to look at my life from a different perspective outside of what I was here for and outside of the things that's going on in my life. It gave me a new direction and a sense of well-being inside of the community and being part of a productive member of society once again. And there's that has enlightened me to be close to God and bring me closer to my academic achievements that I would like to inquire while I'm here in the Ignite program.
So people say, why Ignite, right? Many offenders are uneducated and do not have jobs, right? We understand that. We understand the punitive nature of the criminal justice system. It takes the focus off rehabilitation, but rehabilitation is what's needed to reduce repeat offenders. Recidivism is at its all-time high rate at this point. So we have to me on my side, give opportunity where we can. Mass incarceration is significantly affected by the opportunity for employment. So it says, what does Ignite provide for residents previously classified as inmates? It provides education. So in our building, we provide education across the board. We provide job training and certification. So if you come into our facility, if you want to just sit there and waste your life away, there's opportunity for you. Those who want to come into our facility and they want opportunity, we give them opportunity to change. We create purpose. We allow our residents to set and achieve goals inside our house. We provide employment opportunities for reentry. We're working with TAP right now. TAP, with the partnership, they gave us $3 million to create opportunity. That means that you got to get outside your doors. If you don't have a grant writer in your house, find those community partners who can get the money, who are already vetted to help give resources back to your house. Meritocracy provides incentives and rewards. Everything around the country have rewards. We give our deputies rewards for recruiting. They give kids rewards in school for, if you read right, you get a piece of candy, right? You get a reward if you change your car in, you get so much money. There's rewards for everything in this world. So in our programs, instead of, fighting each other inside your housing units, if you get educated while you're inside your housing units, we provided incentives and rewards for our residents. Again, this provides hope. Most inmates have not been acknowledged for their progress. Since being there, we gave a young man a certificate the other day. As soon as we gave him a certificate of achievement, guess what he started doing? He cried. Because a lot of people they don't have no sense of hope because nobody has ever given them any type of hope. And I told him, you did wrong, that's why you're here. He was a repeat offender. He stayed in our facility, in and out. But when we launched programs and the culinary programs, they found a sense of hope. And now they feel like they belong and they can give back to society. So again, Reignite, it helped us to identify that it reduces the resident crime. It keeps them from fighting each other. Again, it helps to reduce residents on staff violence. Again, if they have nothing to do, guess what they're doing? They're plotting against our staff. It reduces lawsuits. It reduces recidivism. It improves community trust or public trust and community relationships. Because again, our communities are betting on us to do the right thing. So I appreciate the community partnerships. It opens up opportunities for funding and tangible donations. This program was vetted by the National Sheriff's Association. And so a couple months ago, they flew me out to Missouri to talk about this on the national platform. And so with that opportunity for the sheriffs in Virginia, if you become a part of this program, there's opportunities, grants, and rewards that's given, finances that's given back to your agency. Verizon is one of our partners. And so at this moment, we have 5 states that's already partnered with us, 5. And so for Virginia, Roanoke City Sheriff's Office was the first agency in Virginia to jump on board with the national. But that does not mean that we have to be the only agency that's partnered with the national to help get some of these additional funds to put back in your house to get your residents some help. Tomorrow, they're launching in North Dakota tomorrow. So had I not been here, I'd be in North Dakota. Again, the benefits to the community encourages and engages our citizens. Now we got citizens asking, how can they help? We started a closed closet inside our agency, so that way those who are going for jobs, when they get out, they can go looking presentable so they can get a job and take care of their kids. SROs hear their kids talking all the time, my mom and daddy in jail, they don't have a job. So now we're giving their moms and dads some jobs so they can take care of their kids. We got a discharge planner. When you let us know that you want help, our discharge planner get with those individuals and they make sure they have the resources and the help they need to go forward. So again, this is what it looked like. They get classified, they get background information from them, they go into quarantine. And then once they go out of quarantine, they go into general population. And then we vet them for trustee, and then we vet them for programs. Because we changing the culture, we was doing stripes inside our justice center. But effective September the 6th, instead of doing stripes on our program floor, they do solid uniforms with programs on the back of it. Because if we're changing the culture on how we see incarceration, they got to change their mindset while they're there. They still doing their time, right? They paying their debt to society, correct? And so at that moment, we're offering opportunities. So all residents, they get the GED, they get continuing education, they get library services, religious counseling and studies. They get the discharge planning, they get DMV Connect. So DMV come into our house and we get them an ID before they get out to make sure when they get out, they can go to work or go to a job for an interview. We get re-entry bags with toiletries. So those who get out, we do re-entry bags. Those who are identified to be heavy drug users, we give them a packet of Narcan. Because if you're going to use the sheriff's office, if you die and your family don't claim your body, who had to take ownership? The sheriffs in Virginia, right? And so at that moment, instead of you killing yourself, I give them a can of Narcan. So if you're going to use, trying to keep you alive, so I don't have to take ownership of your body and pay $1,000. That's just on me. General population, so they get incentives for completing assignments. They get programming and pods that's assigned. They get groups in classroom settings. They get Bible study, AA. They get NA, and they get art therapy. So trustee pod, these are trustee assignments, and they get programming pods. So they get access to all opportunities. They get classes in group pods or group settings as well. They get the female alpha pod. They get the female mental health and reentry. They get the male mental health and reentry. So again, if they don't deal with the trauma and the drama that got them into our facility, then guess what? When they get out, they're going to reoffend. Now, I'm telling you, this is not a program where everybody's going to take ownership of it. You know as well as I know, you can give them everything to make them great. But if they don't want to change, then guess what? They'll be back in your building, and then you'll keep doing what you're doing. But those who want to change, we create the change. As you all can see, we launched September the 6th in our facility. The National Sheriff's Association came to our house. Sheriff Swanson came from Flint, Michigan. Sheriff McFadden over there came from Charlotte, North Carolina. Got Sheriff Orange that came from from Roanoke County. Got Sheriff Staten that came from Salem to be a part of this program. And as you can see, these are our residents. Once they graduated from the culinary program, those who graduate in the kitchen, they get to wear their culinary jackets because it's a sign of achievement for them that they passed something in their lifetime. And then what we do is we connect them to a restaurant or a business that would accept their certifications and allow them to come to work the day they get out. So this is us as we launch the programs. And as you can see, these are our program uniforms. They were excited. Again, these are our community partners, those in our community who say, you know what, Sheriff Hash, I want to see your program be successful. Trinity, raise your hand. They started the program. Let the people see you, stand up. But Trinity came into our house. We launched the culinary program. They were excited to help us. We got Roanoke City. We got TAP, which gave us the $3 million to make this look like something. You got Goodwill, their reentry program. The Salvation Army. You got Blue Ridge Behavioral Health. Wendy's. You got everybody used Mission Barbecue, right? Everybody liked to eat, so Mission was excited. But again, it doesn't take much. We put out a memo or an email to the whole city of Roanoke, and we said, who want to be a part of this program, show up as a launch meeting with our outside vendors. When we launched it, let me tell you, the classroom or the office or the community space was full. You know why? Because people have the heart for people. And again, I'll say this over and over again. I'm not saying that we don't need to lock up people. If you do wrong, you do your time. But while you're inside our facility, as a sheriff, I'm an elected official. I have a responsibility to make sure that people are returning back to my community and those who can vote, because people inside your facility, they still can vote, correct? If they haven't been convicted of a what? Help me out. So we're trying to launch a polling station or voting or a precinct inside our facility because those people, we got over 300-something residents, they can still vote. So guess what our politicians doing? Knocking on our door trying to get in. Because if you got 10 votes that separate you between the next person, then guess what you need? Those 200 votes inside your facility to make the change. So everybody that's on the spectrum is looking for opportunity, from city council to our governor who sent us, his kudos and thank us for moving in this direction. But we can't make this happen unless we have the participation of those in our community who want to help us do good. The National Sheriff's Association, for those who want to know, they send cards. So if you want a card, I'll give it to you because they're looking for you to be a part of this opportunity. Do I have anybody that got any questions for me? Anybody want to see change? Are you already presenting change in your department? No questions? Well, I appreciate you again. If you want to get with us and you want to see this program launched in your facility, get with me, and the National Sheriff's Association will come into your city and help launch this program and then try to get additional funding to you to make sure you move forward. Again, thank you again for this opportunity. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Sheriff Hash. I told you he was going to be dynamic. He'll wake you up. Thank you very much. That $100, yeah, about that $100, isn't it? Oh, okay, I see. All righty. Great program. Saw a demonstration in National this year, and there was a sheriff in North Carolina who really opened my eyes. He said he had a company that donated like $75,000 to get him a CDL simulator. And he was actually using the CDL simulator inside his jail to be able to teach you guys to be able to get your CDL license. And I mean, they still have to do their 40 hours out on the road, but that's pretty amazing. And, shortage of truck drivers and everything like that. So now we're going to have my paper got lost earlier, so I'm still trying to muddle through, but Mr. David Thompson, President, Special Olympics Virginia, for a presentation to the 2022 Virginia Law Enforcement Torch Run recognition. And you'd have Sheriff Joe Barron of City of Norfolk, chair of the 2023 Torch Run, Sheriff Carl Leonard, Chesterfield County, Sheriff David Dowdy, Jr. of Northampton County, Sheriff E. Grant Kilgore, Wise County. If you all you guys will come forward.
Thank you for that introduction, and good afternoon. It's really great to be here with you today. I am David Thomason, and as of July 1, I had the great honor of becoming the president of Special Olympics Virginia. Been with the movement for 35 years, love what we do, love for whom we do it, and love the people that we get to do it with. So thank you so much for all that you do for us year-round. I have found in these last couple of months that one of my favorite parts of this job as president, there are lots of parts, as you can imagine. My favorite part is to thank people. I get to thank some of the most wonderful people in this Commonwealth for their generous partnership with us. Just like with Virginia Sheriff's Association, your support empowers, it enables, and it helps us grow tremendously the impact that we have across the state. So this afternoon, I greatly appreciate this opportunity to be with you, and thank you for your unwavering support. It's especially important to our Special Olympics athletes, nearly 20,000 athletes across the state, to their families, and as you know very well, to our communities. The work that we do at Special Olympics, the work that you do at Special Olympics, I believe is changing the world for the better. And so we're just really happy to have the partnership with you as we work through this. And as Sheriff Hall said, we are honored to also have a chance this afternoon to recognize some of the leaders here today for their exemplary work with Special Olympics, especially in relation to the law enforcement torch run. First of all, I'd like to offer special thanks to Sheriff Barron of Norfolk for agreeing to serve as the law enforcement torch run state sheriff for 2023. It's a huge job, and we appreciate him being willing to take on that leadership role. And I'd like to invite Sheriff Barron to come and share a few words with us. Sheriff Barron. Yeah.
I will say very few words because I know everybody's anxious to get out there and enjoy this wonderful weather here in Virginia Beach. John ordered it up wherever he is, so make sure you thank him for that. Special Olympics Torch Run is such a special organization. And I don't say that tongue-in-cheek. I say that because, for a long time, with COVID and with the backlash of the murder of George Floyd, law enforcement was taking a lot of hits, and we still are, and we're still, not, as, popular as we should be, and with all the great work that we're doing out in the community. But I will tell you, you go and be around any Special Olympian, get involved in Special Olympics, and I will tell you, it is pure love that is given for us in law enforcement from these folks. These folks give you a smile, they'll come up and give you a hug, and they appreciate you 100% of the time. It's never failing, and it's such a remarkable thing. I've been the regional chair now for 2 years, and I'm proud that Roy asked me to be the state chair next year, and we're hoping to break some records as it relates to fundraising and supporting this wonderful, organization of Special Olympics. But I would like to encourage every single one of you, all the sheriffs here in the room, and your majors and your deputies, to get involved. In your own little communities, you can have your torch run, and you can have your Cover the Cruiser event. You can raise a little money and send it to Special Olympics, and you can find someone in your community, because every community has them. You can find someone in your community that is a Special Olympian, and let them know you love them, because they certainly love you. I'm so proud this year that we have so many sheriffs that are stepping up to the plate to be regional chairs. And I'd just like to mention them. Sheriff Jim O'Sullivan, Sheriff Carl Leonard, thank you. And Carl, man, he kicked my butt in golf not too long ago where we were teamed up with some Special Olympians. But great job Sheriff Leonard's doing. Sheriff Tim Carter, I just want to give you a shout out. Sheriff Brown, who I know is here. Sheriff Mondul, and Sheriff Kilgore, Sheriff Daughtry, and Sheriff Harden for the first time from Williamsburg is going to step up and help us. I'm still looking to get in touch with Sheriff Hutchinson because I'd like for him to be the regional chair for 7 if he's in the room. Just know I'm looking for you to take over Region 7. So with that, I just want to say thank you to Special Olympics and thank you to all of you that participate every single year, but I encourage everyone that doesn't to get involved. It's really a great opportunity to warm your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Barron. I would also like to extend a huge thanks to Sheriff Orange from Roanoke for his leadership. He served as our state chair through the pandemic in both 21 and 22, and as you know, those were some challenging years in many ways, but his leadership not only, it kept us focused on what was possible, and it helped us keep our athletes active, and for our athletes particularly, for all of us, but particularly our athletes, staying connected was critical. So thank you, Sheriff Orange, for that leadership. For more than 3.5 decades, the law enforcement community has partnered with Special Olympics, and about the amount, just a little bit more than the amount of time that both Roy Zeidman and I have been with Special Olympics Virginia. So we know the long view of just how much you've done for us, and we're so appreciative. You continually work to find innovative ways to help us raise awareness and raise funds, and we're just thankful for that. So 3.5 decades is a long time. We're looking forward to many more years working together. Over that time, the number of agencies, the number of people engaged has grown, of course. We're at more than 300 agencies in the Commonwealth that are involved with Torch Run. Police departments, sheriff's departments, sheriff's offices, chiefs of police, Virginia State Police, Virginia Department of Corrections, and some federal agencies as well. And the men and women of these 300 agencies participate in a huge variety of fundraisers. Sheriff Barron just mentioned a couple of them. And just a little ways down the beach in February, on February 4th, we're going to do a polar plunge. You can almost see the site from here, just outside the Hilton. I like the enthusiasm. That's what she said, exactly. Come on down and do the plunge. Golf tournaments, you mentioned Covered the Cruisers, and so many options. Of course, the Torch Run itself, culminating in Summer Games, which year after year creates a signature moment for all of us at Special Olympics. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that just last Saturday, we were up on the tarmac of Dulles Airport with 75 teams of people pulling airplanes, raising 12,000 spectators, raising a total of $440,000. And in case they're in the room, I know, for the 14th year in a row, raising $17,000 by themselves is Chesapeake Sheriff Office. Congratulations. It is incredible to see that team pull that plane, and it's incredible to see the energy that comes with all that. So congratulations. I know you're vying for 15, and I'll be there to cheer you on. As I said, I love thanking people. It's one of the best parts of my job. Anyone who knows about my work in Special Olympics know that I most love hearing from our athletes. So I want to introduce you to one of our athletes, Rose Plesko, and I believe we have a slide of her picture that I can introduce you. This is just last weekend up at Plain Pole. Rose is the one on the left with the dark hair. Rose lives in Reston, Virginia. She's a very, very proud Special Olympics Virginia athlete. She's a great runner, a great swimmer, and a sailor. She does some of the sailing up in that part of the world. She represents all of our athletes who are champions. Champions at their workplaces, champions at school, champions in their community, in addition to being champions on the field or in the pool or on the golf course. Rose works at a company called Bright Spot, and she's a quality assurance and content specialist. And she's pursuing an associate's degree at Northern Virginia Community College. Rose is a shining example of what can happen when we believe in what's possible for those with intellectual disabilities. Actually, when we believe in what's possible for everyone, but particularly those with intellectual disabilities in this case. And your belief in Rose, your belief in our athletes, and belief in our champions is a shining example of how we can empower their possible and open the doors to their successes. As I said, Rose is a very proud athlete and obviously a very engaged community member. She's also extremely proud, over-the-top proud, very dedicated member of our Special Olympics Virginia Law Enforcement Torch Run Council. And when I saw Rose on Saturday, I told her I was going to be here. She said, "Really? Make sure you tell them hi for me," because she believes she knows you all. And if you don't, hopefully you'll one day meet Rose. And I asked her, why she was so dedicated to serving on the LETR Council. And she said it's because she really respects everything that the people in the law enforcement community do for athletes like her and her fellow athletes. And she really appreciates each of you for what you do. She asked me to thank you for allowing and encouraging your departments to participate in law enforcement torch run year-round. And she knows it makes a difference every day. She said that she knows that without your support, she couldn't run a race, couldn't swim, couldn't participate at summer state games. And though she didn't say it directly, I believe she knows, and I know that you know that you're a big part of Rose's success in all of these realms, at sports, in her job, and in her community. So you're doing very, very good work with your connection with Rose and with all the other Special Olympics athletes that you help. And of course, Rose also asked me to extend a special thanks to Sheriff Orange for his leadership through the pandemic. So again, thank you, Sheriff Orange, I'm sorry. To all of you here today, your diligent year-round work enables and empowers our athletes' diligent year-round work every single day. Every single day, our athletes are champions, but it's because groups like you believe in them, partner with them, and your dedication helps us continue with what we call an inclusion revolution. We believe that it's important to include people of all differences, include and respect, and include them in a way that is unified. So Special Olympics, with your help and the help of many other partners, is working toward what we call the inclusion revolution. And you help us raise a lot of money through the year, as has been mentioned. A couple of ways that those funds are used. One is through something called Unified Champion Schools. And in Unified Champion Schools activities, students with and without disabilities work together. There's partnership, whether it's inclusive sport, whether it's inclusive youth leadership, or whole school engagement. Sometimes that leadership culminates in one of our Little Feet meets, and I know I've seen some of you at our Little Feet meets and Big Feet meets and meets in the middle, and that's when our athletes are given the chance to shine, and the community comes in and sees them compete and showcase their abilities on the track often, but also in some other ways. Virginia leads the way in schools as far as being recognized for the level of engagement we have in schools. Pre-pandemic, we were reaching about 450,000 students in 500 schools around the Commonwealth. And in fact, we are doing such a good job, our schools are doing such a good job, educators are doing such a good job, and especially our students are doing such a good job through this Unified Champion Schools, that the U.S. Secretary of Education, Dr. Miguel Cardona, visited one of our schools just last week to recognize them for that exemplary work. It was so amazing to have him there to recognize these elementary students for how they're leading the way for inclusiveness. And you are making that possible because of your partnership with us. We also, and many people don't know, offer something called Healthy Athlete Center. Our athletes are marginalized in many ways through health care because they are a marginalized population when it comes to health care. But at our summer games, we have a Healthy Athlete Center where we offer free screenings and free treatment in multiple disciplines. Athletes can come in and have their eyes examined and walk out that day with a free pair of glasses, come in and have their dental exam and get some free work done there. Sometimes hearing aids, fitness, podiatry, a long list. And it's a critical need because our athletes are much more, as I said, much more marginalized, two times more likely to be obese, 2 times more likely to be less active, 2 times more likely to have cardiovascular disease or asthma, 5 times more likely to have diabetes. And this one just blows my mind every time I read it or see it, read it or say it. Our athletes, those with intellectual disabilities, have a life expectancy that is 20 years fewer than the rest of us. So your help in creating the Healthy Athlete Center is changing that. And again, you are helping us with that. And then finally, as Rose mentioned, to me and that I convey to you, our state games are something else that you help to fund with your generous support. Our summer games at the University of Richmond, certainly many of you are familiar with that. In March, we are up in Stafford County with our basketball championships. And in November, we'll be here in Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads with our fall championships. The cost of those games throughout the years is more than $500,000 and every year, but it does provide about 3,000 athletes each year in that specific setting, in addition to all the other area and local settings. 3,000 athletes a chance to showcase, again, their achievements, their community, to their communities, and it helps them dispel the myths about people of all abilities. And it also helps break down a fear of difference. You know, so many of us are just afraid of difference, but once we get to know someone, as Sheriff Barron said, meet an athlete. You're going to learn a lot. Every day I work with athletes, I learn something, and a lot of what you learn is that we can all do more than we think we can. And you help make that possible. So thank you, and thank you. I'll end as I finish. And it's now, I'm very honored to have the chance to honor some of your leaders who are in this room. As I mentioned, Roy Zeidman, who's our Senior Vice President, many, if not all of you know Roy Zeidman, very dedicated. Many of you have already complimented him and let me know how grateful you are for his work. So I appreciate him being here and all that he's done to work with you and foster this relationship that it obviously has meant so much to so many. So Roy is up front with some awards that we wanted to present. First to Sheriff Joe Barron with Norfolk. Thank you so much for serving as the chair of the 2023 Torch Run. Pose for the picture, that's great. Also, Sheriff Carl Leonard with Chesterfield County. We appreciate your service as well. Thank you, Carl. And there are two that I don't believe are in the room, Sheriff David Dowdy with Northampton County and Sheriff E. Grant Kilgore from Wise County. We also want to recognize them, and we'll make sure that we get that to them. So again, thank you for your time, thank you for your attention here, but also thank you for your time, your resources, your generosity, your respect, your inclusion, your unity that you show to Special Olympics, and especially to our athletes. Thanks so much.
All right, got Elizabeth keeping me straight now. John's enjoying the front row, so I'm glad to see John can sit there and enjoy the front row. I'm sure he's smiling. But Elizabeth, great addition to our staff. Been about a year now, and anytime you need her, you can call her. Pretty much free legal advice, and anytime hours. I know my chief deputies called her after hours, and she responded back. So great to have you. We're going to go into our business meeting and election of officers for members only, but also I just wanted to give you a heads up. From 5 to 6, we'll have our President's Reception in the exhibit hall, salons A&D, and it's sponsored by Blue Line Solutions. And then if you're not part of that, and in the morning we'll have our 7:30 to 8:30, we'll have coffee and continental breakfast in the exhibit hall, and the general session will begin at 1. So we're going to go into our business meeting and election of officers for members only.